Hey guys, welcome to part 22 of Let's Play Pokemon SoulSilver for the DS. In the last part we started taking on Team Rocket for goodsies. This time it's for goodsies. So yeah, we're going to continue doing that. Because this event, this whole radio tower event, after playing it again, because I've now beaten it, I think it's actually longer than the first one in Mahogany Town taking on Team Rocket there. Although it really does, whether it's longer or not, really does include, do you include the Gyarados, the red shiny Gyarados, and going up to the lake and taking on that Gyarados. So, I mean, I probably wouldn't, but you pretty much do fight more Team Rocket grunts here, so yeah, there's a lot of that going on. Hopefully, yeah, I can come up with some useless stuff to say, because I've said everything I need to say about Team Rocket grunts, you know. In gameplay wise, it's pretty fun. It's one of the better Team Rocket, and the events and the things you have to do against Team Rocket is a lot more fun here because all the places are more linear, so you don't have to worry about it too much. You can always get back to a Pokemon Center, so you don't have to worry about that either. And yeah, just overall the Team Rocket events were just a lot better put together and better designed for this generation. So yeah, I mean, this generation is just great in general. So what we're trying to do here, we're trying to stop Team Rocket, but at this point in time you don't really know what you're trying to do. You're just in the radio tower fighting all the Team Rocket grunts, but there's a door here that is actually locked that you can't get into yet, so you just have to keep going to the top and hope that something works out. And Substitution, I didn't teach it to Mr. Sublime, and it's a move for years I just didn't even care about. I read about what it was, and in case you don't know, you turn into like a weird substitution doll. I think you like lose a load of health and then turn into this doll that can take so much damage, and then after so much damage it breaks and all that kind of stuff, and it's a super weird move. And I never used it, I never saw any purpose in it. It's been in the game since the first generation, it was one of the first moves, and I never liked it. But then when I started kind of looking at competitive battling, not actually doing it, mind, just having a quick look online on YouTube and all that, turns out it's one of the most useful moves for competitive battling in terms of strategy against other people, because you can take certain moves that you would just get destroyed by otherwise. So yeah, I mean, it's kind of weird how moves translate to the competitive battling, because I'm pretty sure when they made the first games they intended people to battle, but there was no online, and it was one of the big, you know, ideas of Pokemon was that you could trade with friends and fight with friends. But I think they were more going for you can trade with friends rather than you can battle with friends. So it's pretty interesting the amount of moves now that come out which are really just geared towards competitive battling. But I think that move, the sub move, was probably one of the first ones that, I mean, I don't think it was designed for it, but that's probably the first move that is most useful for competitive battling. So yeah, there's that. One thing I want to quickly talk about, because I don't have that much to talk about here, it's the same old stuff, is that I briefly mentioned that I've had emulator problems and all that, and in case you're wondering exactly what they are, you know, I've got time. Pretty much sometimes the emulator just completely crashes. It just, for some reason, Heart Gold and Heart SoulSilver, the ROMs are just terrible online, just absolutely terrible. They just don't work half the time, and sometimes it just goes completely black when I enter a new room. Sometimes it just freezes altogether. Sometimes the graphics get like reversed in this weird kind of way. So there's a lot of times in this LP, and I haven't mentioned most of them, but about half of this LP, the footage you're seeing is like the second time I've had to do this. And that's the case here. This is the second time I had to go through this and do it all, so it's kind of frustrating, and I have no idea why Heart Gold and SoulSilver have these problems, because Pokemon ROMs are the biggest problem when it comes to ROMs in general. They just seem, the people who are behind them, I'm not going to slag them off because I don't know all the technical details, seem to just have big problems when it comes to the Pokemon ones. But I managed to fix Pokemon White and Pokemon Black and White 2 and Pokemon Pearl fine. So yeah, so it's really frustrating, and I mean, it's a bit too late for anyone to help me out now who's watching this, but it's really weird. Because the problem with the ROM community, I think, is that they don't fix the problems. I know it's illegal, and it is illegal. I'm not going to say ROMs are legal. I'm pretty sure they're not. You know, I'm not going to say I can have a virtual copy of my game. That's just not true. But yeah, so it's just really frustrating sometimes. And there's a battle that I'm going to do in this that I had to do 4 times. But I mean, I'll get to that when I get to it, really. So in terms of training up my Pokemon, yeah, it really is a case of I'm just training up my Pokemon. I don't have any. I have my full squad, so all I really have to do is, you know, just keep training. And the Team Rocket grunts are a great way to do that. I think that's probably one of the reasons why they had the Team Rockets be back to back like this, because between like the 5th and 6th gym and the 7th gym as well, I guess, there wasn't that big of a jump in the levels. I guess they couldn't because of the way the game is structured. There definitely was a jump, there definitely is small jumps, but there wasn't that much of a jump, and you didn't really do that much in between. So I'm guessing because they wanted the 8th gym to be really hard and to have really high levels. I mean, they couldn't have, you know, level, you know, the biggest. They probably, I can't remember the level of the hardest Pokemon in that gym, but I want to say it's like level 40, maybe even more than that. So I guess they kind of had to have the player go through all this repetitive battling to get, you know, to the right level that they wanted the player to be. Because from this place, we don't even go straight to the city. There's something else we have to do. So yeah, there's a lot to be done. And yeah, Porygon's an odd Pokemon. I don't really get Porygon at all. It's meant to be a computer, I believe. It's actually not a living thing. It's a computer Pokemon that somebody made. And then in the first gen, I really liked the look of it. I thought this is a cool looking Pokemon. It's a different Pokemon. I really want to catch it. But the only way you can catch it is by going to the casino and, you know, earning it. But the casino I just had a really hard time doing, so I don't think I ever got one. But then in this generation, they introduced Porygon 2. Or 2.0, I think it's meant to be. And again, it's another completely useless Pokemon. There could be a lot of cool things you could do with it, but there seems to be a lot of Pokemon where I don't know how they come to designing and implementing some of the Pokemon, but there's a lot of them that are just pointless, and that becomes a lot more, you know, that becomes a lot more, what's the word I'm looking for, like, apparent the further you go into the generations. And but most Pokemon in the first generation weren't pointless, and then in the second gen there's a few more that are a bit pointless, like Porygon 2, and then they introduced the baby Pokemon, which are a bit more pointless as well, and you know. So this isn't actually the final battle. In this whole kind of event, there's a lot of hard battles. Well, actually most of them are pretty easy, but there's a lot of battles with a lot of high level Pokemon. As you can see, this Weezing is level 32. I actually have trouble taking out Weezings in general, but Weezings aren't that hard Pokemons to take out. So yeah, this isn't actually the end of this whole event, but it feels like an end battle. So if you had trouble with the executive, can't remember the name of it, in in Mahogany Town, then you're probably going to have a lot of trouble here as well. There's a lot of battles where there's a lot of high level Pokemon. But you can probably tell that even though we're at the top of the radio tower, pretty much, this isn't the hardest battle that we're going to have to do. It's pretty simple. I mean, you just got to take on a load of coffins. That's about it. Once again, it's nice for earning a load of XP, and any Pokemon you want to level up, boom, there you go. Just hit it with a couple of serves and you're done. Never really going to have that much trouble with this place. I mean, the only trouble you could have with this place is having to go back and heal all the time, which, you know, I already said that it's quite easy to get back to the Pokemon Center, but it can make it a bit repetitive. I already mentioned my emulator problems, and one of the problems is that there's constant slowdown. So most of the time I'm playing at like half speed, so it takes a long time for me to do anything, which is why usually when I play Pokemon games and when I'm just playing them, I go back to the Pokemon Center any chance I get. Just always going back there. Not literally after every battle, but I'm always going back to the Pokemon Center. I don't risk it. I don't think, oh, I'll just continue and it'll be fine. I always just go back. I just don't care. But of course, when I'm Let's Playing, I kind of can't constantly have me going back to the Pokemon Center, which is why in my Let's Plays I take a lot more risks when it comes to my Pokemon's health, and a couple times it's actually resulted in me being whited out and being blacked out, so kind of not very good really. And this is something that's really cool about this event. With the other ones, the other Team Rocket events, you're just literally going through a tower and then you get to the end and that's it. So it's really cool here that you get to the end and the guy's like, oh, well, you're not meant to be here, this is not the place you need to be. Gives you a key and then you have to go to the basement and look up this place, which is really cool. I really do like that you don't just stay in one place. And it shows off how cool Goldenrod City is. Because again, it's not just a load of buildings, you can also have this underground section, which I already talked about in the last part because we had to go here. And they do something really cool, which we won't see till the next part, where it actually does feel like an underground. It does actually feel like this area underneath the whole city, which I think is really nice. I don't know if it's based off any city in particular. I think like Toronto or Vancouver has a lot of underground stuff. But here we go, Satan is here, you know, he always likes to show up. And this time he's actually going to battle us, which... one thing about this remake is that you don't know when these battles are coming unless you've memorized the first game or the original games, because they literally do just out of nowhere. He shows up a lot. I think it's shown up like 3 or 4 times in between from the last battle to this battle, so you don't know when he's going to show up and battle you. But this is the battle. I had to do it 4 times because here's what happened. The first time I beat him. Going into this battle, he now has 5 Pokemon, and a lot of them have evolved, and he's actually really tough. Or his Pokemon are actually really strong, because now that they're evolving, they're actually pretty decent. So the first time I actually beat him, and I was like, whew, that was kind of tough. I didn't have that much trouble with it, but I beat him. Second time, the emulator crashed. Well, the emulator crashed. No, wait. The emulator crashed, which wiped me beating him, so I had to beat him again. Second time I lost. I just completely lost to him. Third time I barely beat him and the emulator crashed again. And the 4th time I beat him, and this is the 4th time that you're seeing here. And so you can see, this is why I mentioned my emulator problems before, because this is the 4th time I had to fight this guy and the 4th time I battled him. I haven't even fought anyone else 4 times, not even the gym leaders at this point, so... But one thing that was really cool was seeing Feraligatr and his design. I love Feraligatr, I think it's really cool. I love Totodile. It's probably my favourite starter out of all the starters, I would have to say. I think Piplup's really cool as well, but that's neither here or there. Yeah, I think Totodile and its evolutions, I'm not too sure if I would say Totodile's cooler than Squirtle, because Squirtle was, you know, the original water type, and Blastoise is badass. Wartortle's a bit weird, but... You know, so it was really cool seeing Feraligatr, because of course when I played Heart Gold I picked Chikorita, so I didn't see Totodile or Feraligatr like at all. So it's one thing, I mean, it just shows how, I don't know, obsessed I am with water type Pokemon. It just shows how much I am obsessed, because just seeing Feraligatr and just fighting against all the different Totodile evolutions. I mean, I haven't seen those Pokemon in years because they're starters, so they don't show up that much, so yeah, that's the first time I kind of played a game where I fought against him, I guess. Yeah, this battle is kind of hard. You can't just... I tried to just match up weaknesses and all that kind of stuff, but I had a hard time doing it. Just because Feraligatr is really strong, and Haunter, you know, the good thing about Haunter is that it knows the move Curse, which halves its HP, and for some reason the computers are obsessed with that move. So you can take a lot of advantage with that. And yes, here we go! The fluff is finally evolving. Oh, I was well happy when this happened, because I completely forgot what level the fluff evolved at. I knew it was not at 36, I knew it was earlier than that, but I completely forgot it was at level 30. So now the fluff is a really awesome Pokemon. It pretty much in one move goes from being kinda rubbish and nothing that great, having terrible Thunder Shock, but it evolves, boosting on its stats, and then it learns the awesome move Thunder Punch, which once again I also completely forgot that it learns Thunder Punch when it evolves. But yeah, it learns Thunder Punch, which is a physical move, but it's still electric, so still really good. The Fluff actually has fairly decent attack and special attack at the same time, so yes, so now the Fluff is going to kick some ass, but I guess we have to save that for the next part. So next time in Let's Play Pokemon SoulSilver, we're going to continue going through this place. Actually, we still got a lot of Team Rocket to defeat. So I've been on Storm 23. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you next time.